he has now targeted the January 18th game against the Los Angeles Clippers for his return. Ryen, from a straight up like basketball standpoint, from an X's and O's type of gameplay thing, how does Demarcus Cousins change the Warriors?
I'm not sure yet. I've always been a no boogie guy. Like, I had a no boogie rule forever. Yep. But I understand why Golden State did it, because it was absolute market of hey, I'm going to come there and I'll take your $5 million. And they're like, all right, I guess we'll do this, because I'm not sure they were going to be able to use that money on anybody else based on people that I talked to. So from just a basketball standpoint, I'm actually a little worried that everyone seems to love this dude around the league, but they haven't really played with him for 82 games. So I don't know if they're still going to love him when he's actually out there with them the entire time. But initially, I'm expecting almost this over-graciousness towards him where they're going to be screwing themselves up to get him involved offensively. But I think from a motivational standpoint, it's something this Warriors team needs, because last year I think that their biggest opponent was boredom.
Absolutely, and that's what I tell everybody so far this year. When you look at the standings and the Warriors are in third, and they've lost 3 in a row at home. For me, it's just like they just don't care enough, and at least adding him into the mix will help from like a chemistry perspective and energy and doing something different. That will help. But I'm really wondering, like, what is Steve Kerr going to use him as? Are they going to post him up? Like, is that what's going to happen? We're going to do like a 4-around-1 with Boogie Cousins? Like, he's not the greatest passer in the world. Well, see, is he going to set picks in the pick and roll? What's he going to do?
I actually do think he's a pretty good passer. I mean, I think the weird thing about Boogie is that for my frustrations with him, they're the plays in between the stats. The points, the rebounds, the assists have been insane. I mean, he's arguably the most talented big guy playing in the league. It's those plays in between when he doesn't get it on a pick and pop, where he doesn't get a call and he's checked out for 4 possessions, where he doesn't show on a high screen and roll because he just doesn't want to bother. But I think he will be motivated because he doesn't want to let these guys down, where it's never really bothered him in other stops in Sacramento and New Orleans. But you're right. I think they'll go with some posts. I think what he's going to be really scary with, if he hits that shot, because it's going to be open all the time, is the trail 3 in transition. I know he's going to take it a lot, but I'd expect a lot of those with him early on.
Do you think, like I'm going to forecast to the playoffs, and when you play a team 5, 6, 7 games in a row, you can just isolate players. And he seems to might be one of the victims of the like, oh, whoever Boogie is covering, why don't you come set me a pick? We'll get a switch, and then I'll do the thing. We've all seen it before. Do you think he could fall victim to that when it comes to playoff time? Yeah,
I do. But that also changes some of the stuff that other people done against Steph. Like Cleveland was trying to do that a lot in the finals again in the last one. And, Steph, I don't think gets enough credit for at least understanding what he's supposed to do defensively, even if he's not as impressive physically as some other guys that probably get too much credit for being better defensive players. But there's a bunch of different ways that this could go, and I'm still not quite sure what the answer is. I think he was a really talented guy that gives them a little emotional spark, something to look forward to this season, and they get to spend the money on him when the other options at $5 million probably weren't even guys that were going to crack their top 8.
Now, I have to ask this question because he does have a reputation. Now, I looked at Jimmy Butler, and I was like, oh, Jimmy Butler will be on his best behavior this year. Yeah. It's a contract year. Like, of course, he's going to be a nice guy. He's going to wait until he signs a contract and then blow it up. Well, that didn't exactly happen. Do you think we will get the best behavior Boogie Cousins from now until the end of the season?
Well, that's not saying much, best behavior Cousins, because in Sacramento it was a mess. I had talked to people that would call the Pelicans and be like, hey, was it a little bit better there? And they were like, no, not really. So, at some point it'll be ugly, but will it be so ugly that it distracts the other guys? Like everyone else that Boogie's played with, they've never been this established. So I could see, even if Boogie has a bad night where emotionally he's checked out, Durant, Curry, Draymond, Clay, like those guys, this isn't going to knock them off of what they're trying to do. So even though I'm a little worried about it, we'll see. We'll see how these next few months go.
It's fascinating. It'll be fun to watch, like you said. It will be fun to watch. There's also there's going to be a lot of nights where he plays like 22 minutes, gets 12 points, 4 boards. It's going to be like a lot of those. Like, does he have enough perspective, even a contract year where he's auditioning for the league on the minimum, to sort of just take that because that's what's best for the team?